Aztecs, like all other groups engaged in warfare, it was heavily ingrained in their culture and all men were expected to actively engage in it. At the height of their power, their territory was 77,220 square miles, which was around the size of the state of Nebraska. Commoner boys were taught lessons on warfare and weapons used in schools known as Telpochcali and nobles in schools known as Calmecac, where they'd also get additional leadership and religious training. At the top of the military hierarchy was the king or Tlatoani. They were generally dynastic but were elected in certain situations. His second in command was known as the Cihuacoatl. He also had war generals, which would usually be some of his relatives. The highest ranks among the warriors were the Cuauchique and the Otontin, which could only be entered through 20 or more brave acts in battle and already being an eagle or jaguar warrior. Eagle and jaguar warriors got their names from their battle armor. The animal choices arose from the creation of the fifth sun, where after two gods sacrificed themselves in a bonfire, an eagle and jaguar arose from the flames. The lower ranks were the Tlamani, Cuechtecatl, Papalotl, and Cuaucelotl. Bravery displayed through war was a sure way to increase societal status. Within the Aztec priesthood, there were also warriors that were based off the number of captives that they caught. There was no permanent army, they just assembled when called upon. Towns would provide 400 men and supplies like corn, beans, and salt that would be carried by young men who hadn't caught their first captive. The only permanent warriors were the eagle and jaguar warriors. They were guards to traveling merchants and they acted as the police force essentially within the different localities. Despite being a warrior people, war is not generally what they led with. When an area of interest was discovered, they sent ambassadors and spies dressed as merchants to scout the area. The ambassador would let the leadership know what the price would be for a failure to capitulate. They would be given 20 days to make a decision. If the answer was no, war would commence in the days to come. Most people understood the ferocity of the Aztec people and agreed to their demands. Their main motivations for war were procuring sacrifices, as punishment for killing of merchants and ambassadors, failure to pay tribute, and failure of leaders to attend summons in Tenochtitlan. In the event war commenced, it would start off with posturing, shouting, blowing of conch shells. A volley of rocks and darts from both sides would follow, then both sides would rush in to engage in bloody conflict. Their main weapons of choice were wooden clubs and swords studded with obsidian shards, bows and arrows were used, short spears, and the aforementioned darts. Battles usually ended with the city of interest being destroyed and the local temples ransacked, with the idols being taken back to Tenochtitlan. The Aztecs would partake in something that they'd call flower wars. They would meet their opponents at a predetermined place and time, and the loser would have to cough up sacrifices. Thanks for watching.